In an industry stuffed with marketing bullshit, empty promises, and shiny-suited liars, one woman's had enough. She knows what it's like to have the wrong clients, no money, and no time for fun. But she also knows how to fix it. And on the Business for Superheroes show, she promises to tell the down and dirty truth about business, sales, and running away with the circus. Here's your host, Vicky Fraser.
Hello and welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. What?
Nothing at all. Carry on.
I'm Vicky Fraser, and this is Joe.
Hello.
We're back drinking gin this week.
Hooray.
We're drinking.
Drinking gin.
Drinking gin. I am drinking lemongrass gin, and Joe, what are you drinking?
It's licorice gin. Although, to be honest, of all of these random tasting gins with the botanicals.
This, by the way, is from our gin vent calendar, so it's now almost the end of March, and we're just finishing our gin vent calendar.
It's difficult to believe we didn't get through all that gin, but we did struggle.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it all just tastes like gin to me. I can't really tell the difference between any of it. It's supposed to be like a different flavour every day, but it just all tastes like gin.
Yeah, I've noticed some of them have a different flavour, but I was a bit wary of the licorice one because I really don't like licorice, but that doesn't taste like licorice.
It tastes like gin. Nice. But gin. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Anyway, welcome to the Business for Superheroes show. We are... I'm kind of... This one is entitled Better Call Saul, because we're having a small obsession with Breaking Bad at the moment, aren't we?
We are. We are watching a lot of Breaking Bad.
Yeah. And I'll come to what I want to talk about with Breaking Bad in a minute, but... I'm going to have a bit of a rant first, actually, because I've got a bit of a bugbear, and this is a particular problem in my industry, which is full of shiny-suited liars, because it's the kind of internet marketing, general marketing, sales industry. And there's an awful lot of really, really good people out there doing really, really good stuff, but there's also a lot of just people who are not very good, and these people are charging businesses money and bringing them very little ROI because they don't understand marketing. And it annoys me. And the reason that I'm kind of going on about this is because there was a thread on LinkedIn recently where somebody was asking for a copywriter, and so there was a bunch of recommendations, and somebody very kindly recommended me, which is
nice.
That's nice. But I have a waiting list, which is pretty awesome for private clients. I don't take on many private clients at all.
Certainly not bits and bobs jobs.
Certainly not bits and bobs. But I had a quick scan of all the copywriters who were kind of jumping in, and it just was a little bit of a scramble fest. And I'm not, by the way, sneering at this at all, because I totally remember what it was like when, you know, feast and famine, and you kind of want any work that's coming along.
Got to pay them bills.
Yeah, so this is not me sneering at all. It's kind of, I'm having sympathy for the people who are kind of scrambling for the work. But it does come across as, I don't know, not desperate, but just a little bit scrambly, really. And... Anyway, I've built my business so that I don't have to chase after clients. They come to me, and that's the ideal, and that's what I really want to help you, dear listener.
But it was a big turnaround, wasn't it? It was a big conscious decision, and it was a deliberate remarketing yourself and all kinds of things. There was a process to go through. And there was a process to go through. And if you saw one of my daily emails from last week, the one that I did a video. If not, let me know and I'll point you towards the video. But one of the things that I work on is referrals, and that's what, you know, anyway, I'm not going to talk about that in this podcast because that's a slightly different topic. But looking down the list of the people on this LinkedIn post, I saw a few people bigging themselves up, and a few people were recommended as well, which is, you know, it's really cool. A few people recommend them, which is nice. But I decided to go and have a little nosy at some of their websites because I had a spare 5 minutes. And I was just really disappointed, because in almost every case, the copy on these copywriters' websites was dreadful. And it was all... That's not a good sign, is it?
It's not a good sign, and it's very frustrating, because it was all very me. It's like, this is what we do, this is what we're all about, it's all about us, this is what we do. And it just wound me up a little bit. Only wound me up briefly, because I don't give a shit what my competitors are doing. I'm doing competitors with air quotes here, because what they do is irrelevant to me. I don't have any competitors. I have other people who do what I do. But it does bug me that anybody who can string a sentence together then just calls themselves a copywriter, because it's not about writing. That's secondary to what copywriting is. It's psychology and persuasion and salesmanship, yeah. And most copywriters, as far as I can tell, and I've got no problem saying this, by the way, at all, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate from copywriters on my list, and I'm not talking to you, and if this hits a nerve, then perhaps you ought to look at how you're doing. But most copywriters are bad. They're not good at what they do. And I tend to hang around with the ones who are good at what they do. I always hang around with people who are better at stuff than me because that's the way I learn. And I've got a few copywriters in my group who are very good and getting better all the time, and that's awesome. But the kind of periphery, the kind of, the scramble of people on...
There's some chances out there.
It's not even that they're chances, though, I don't think. And I don't think that they're being deliberate about this. I think that they genuinely don't understand what copywriting is. And they think that because they're good at English and they can write a nice turn of phrase, and I'm not saying that they're bad writers, but they ain't good copywriters.
Right.
And so some of them write very nicely, indeed. But that's not necessarily going to sell, and that's my problem.
Yeah.
And anyway, it kind of irritated me because, some of them had, I'm an award-winning copywriter splashed all over their website. And again, looking at the copy that was on their website, it's like, well, yeah, but does your copy sell anything? Yeah. And if it's like that, then no is the answer.
It looks pretty but doesn't do the job.
Yeah. And you see this with graphic designers as well, and advertising agencies are dreadful for this. They enter these advertising award things, and the stuff that wins is just creative masturbation is what I like to call it. It's just wank to make designers feel good because they're frustrated artists or whatever. And I think the same problem...
Well, not every graphic designer is a frustrated artist, but...
No, exactly. Well, yeah, I shouldn't even have to make that caveat because, the good ones know they're good.
Yeah.
Maybe the bad ones don't know they're bad. It's like, what's it called? Dunning-Kruger. Ooh, that was my text message alert. But it's like the Dunning-Kruger effect. Oh, what's that?
Lots of things you don't know.
Yeah, but it's okay when you're dead. It's only difficult for other people, and it's the same when you're stupid. And I'm not, by the way, saying people are stupid either. It's just that if you don't know what you don't know, then you can't improve. And a lot of... Anyway, I've kind of laboured that point a little bit. But I've won no awards.
No awards whatsoever.
No awards whatsoever. And, if I won an award, I'd probably be really chuffed. And I'm certainly not taken away from people who have won awards. But what I'm saying is that just because you have won an award does not mean that you are good, that you are very good, very, very good at what you do. It doesn't mean that what you do gets results, is what I'm saying.
Sure. The only award that counts is results for your client.
Exactly. And it's always nice to get an award and be recognised and go to an awards ceremony. On the rest of it, I am absolutely not sneering at people who get rewards, because I know that if I got one, I'd be like, oh my God, I've got an award, and it'd be amazing. But I also know that it doesn't mean that much in the grand scheme of things.
No.
So my point for all this, really, this rambly rant, is that if you want to do better in your business, the absolute very first thing that you should do is make sure that you're great at what you do, and not just kind of good at what you do or adequate at what you do.
Yeah.
But surprisingly great. I think you should try and surprise and delight your clients. And I don't always manage to do that, by the way. I've failed on that count a few times because everybody does, and you can't be amazing all the time. But the clients that stick with me now and the ones that pay me the big bucks are the ones whose lives I make very easy, and I go above and beyond, and
You take a whole chunk of their responsibility away from them and just make it all work.
Yeah. And if I don't think I can, then I do and have given partial refunds because I felt that I haven't delivered to my usual high standards. Most of the small business owners that I meet and work with are actually amazing at what they do, and they do go above and beyond, and they don't charge what they could. And I think that's a shame.
Yeah.
You guys are the same.
Well, we charge quite a lot.
You do charge quite a lot, but you could charge more.
Maybe.
Definitely. Until you get the tooth sucking, you know that you're not,
Oh, we get a bit of that.
Oh, that's okay then. Get a bit of that. You need a little bit more of that. The thing is, though, you guys know that nobody else can do what you do as well as you do it.
Well, yeah. It depends what industry you're in, though, and where our expertise is and where our specialisms are. They work better in some industries than others.
Yeah, that's true.
So there are some industries that are like, yep, that sounds perfectly reasonable. Crack on. Here's a big check.
Yeah.
And there's other industries that go, oh my goodness, that's expensive.
Yeah. And it isn't all about money either. I'm not saying that. It's all about... Because the thing is, if you have the clients that pay you the big bucks, then you can afford to go and do the pro bono stuff. that you want to. I mean, not you guys probably so much, but
helping out I suppose if there was a charity manufacturer somewhere making something, we could sort them out with some help and some advice and some
helping out universities and researching stuff. But my point is you have to look out for yourself before you can look out for anybody else. It's like in an aeroplane where they say put your own oxygen mask on before you help somebody else.
Yes, there's no point helping someone else if you're dead.
Exactly. Yeah,
and you can't help anybody if you're dead.
No.
So sort yourself out first.
Yeah, sort yourself out first, then help other people. And, that is really important, and I totally understand, because I do sometimes feel guilty that I should be doing more stuff for charity, but then it's like I'm not in a position to do that yet. And I do, I donate to charity and all the rest of it, but I'd like to do more stuff.
What are we talking about? So what was the point of the rant? Where are we going with that?
So, Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay, Breaking Bad.
Loving it. We're just near at the end of season 2, and I realise that means that we're like 70,000 years behind everybody else.
I kind of the more popular something becomes, though, the less I want to watch it.
That's just pig-headed.
I know, but when everybody I meet is going, oh my god, Breaking Bad, I'm like, ugh, not bothered.
Yeah, but then that you miss out on really really cool stuff. By the way, Joe refuses to have friends in the house. He can't stand it.
It's just all of these smug white people. Jesus, it's horrible. It's like the Counting Crows. Jesus, it's like middle class wankers just being smug at each other.
Could you be any more outraged?
Ugh.
You see, everybody who's a Friends fan will know exactly what that was. So Breaking Bad, we're just near the end of season 2 at the moment, and Walt and Jesse are basically starting, building and growing a business. That's what they're doing.
Starting a business, yeah. Because they've done a little bit of dealing and now they're kind of branching out and building it, structuring it and all that stuff, yeah.
And it might be that they're drug dealers and it's a meth lab that they're building and growing and selling, but that's not the point.
A meth lab distribution network.
Yeah, a business is a business, right?
Yes.
And they have goals. Walt's goal is to make, how much did he say? It was like £750,000 to look after his family.
Yes.
and put his kids through college and make sure his wife, because this is spoiler alert here, by the way. If you've never seen Breaking Bad,
he's dying of cancer.
No, turn off the podcast now. Oh, that comes out straight away, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's dying of cancer. Yeah. He has a limited lifespan and he needs to take care of his family. And he's a chemistry teacher, so he decides to head for crime.
Yeah, as you do. But the premise of the whole show is really bizarre that it got... Because he's like a 50-year-old man, which is not the kind of, usual demographic. He's dying of cancer, which is not a sexy, thing. He's got a pregnant wife, a disabled son, and that's not your usual kind of...
Well, it is a bit dirtier, isn't it? The whole thing is
a bit dirtier. It's very... I really like it. We watched the first series a few years ago, didn't we? And then kind of got to the explosion, and then... The explosion was awesome, and then kind of didn't get any further.
Yeah.
And now we're kind of on the second round, and it's just really cool. But anyway, because Walt is a chemistry teacher, he knows exactly how to cook not just meth, but amazing meth, crystal meth. And I know nothing about crystal meth at all, but apparently it's way better than the crap that you get on the streets. It's like 92 to 99% pure, which is, I don't know, apparently that's really cool.
Unusual.
Yeah, and it's blue as well. And apparently normal meth is just like ice white, is it? It's called ice, isn't it?
Yes, from my extensive experience, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The only thing we know about meth, because in the UK there isn't an awful lot of meth around, is it? It's not really a British thing.
No, I don't think so.
It seems to be quite a big thing in America.
If any of the listeners out there know loads about meth, feel free to
correct us on this, because we know naff all. I could talk for ages about pot, but don't know anything about meth.
Right.
I had to check it. I had to check it past. I don't care who knows that. I don't do any more. But yeah, it's blue. So this meth is blue. And people were like, oh my God, it's blue. I'm not touching that. And they're like, no, seriously, it's amazing. And people tried it and they're like, oh my God, it is amazing. And so everybody wants this blue meth because it's just so much better. And it gives you a massive, much better hit. And I sound like a middle-class white person now, don't I?
You do sound like a middle-class white person talking about American crack habits.
Yeah. Well, it's not crack though, is it?
Oh, it's not crack, it's meth.
No.
Crystal meth, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Anyway, it's blue, and normally it's white, and it's crap, and it's cut with all sorts of stuff. But Walt and Jesse are making this incredibly pure blue meth, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And when they give it to their distributors, they're like, do not cut this. They don't allow their dealers to cut it. It's got to stay pure. And what they're doing, in fact, is building a brand. And their brand is blue meth that's very pure. It's more expensive. They can charge a hell of a lot more for it because it's better. And you need less of it, presumably, to get high. And they're building their brand with their personalities as well, because Walt's kind of code name, he's called himself Heisenberg, hasn't he?
Yes.
And if anybody out there doesn't know who Heisenberg was, then shame on you, and go and do some science learnings.
Go and do some science learnings. Yeah.
But his name is Heisenberg, and that's who people know him as, because obviously he doesn't want to be known as Walter White, chemistry teacher.
That would be bad.
That would be bad. And so he's kind of building up this persona of like a badass drug dealer. Or he's not even a dealer, he's the kind of...
It's the brains.
He's the brains behind it. And there was this badass kind of gang leader called Tuco who was properly mental, actually, wasn't he? He beat somebody to death in front of him. It can be quite a violent series. But Heisenberg, Walter, has got this persona that he's kind of the man in the hat, and he makes it all happen. And he cooks this amazing blue meth. And then Jesse is actually quite a softie. And he's kind of all like, yo, science, bitch. And, he talks like that, and he likes his rap music, and he's just kind of cute, isn't he?
Yes.
But he managed to accidentally take credit for dropping an ATM on someone's head. And that kind of, gave him this whole...
gangstery reputation.
Yeah. And they just... So they've built up this brand around amazing blue meth, Heisenberg, Jesse being a badass, and distribution. And
a good product. A good product.
A really good product, yeah. And that's no different from any other kind of business. It's all about having a really good product and a really good brand behind it, but not going all out with the whole, I need a logo and a shiny website and, all that kind of thing. It's
awareness marketing.
Yeah, it's the product and the relationships that you're building up, I think. Because even though he has to be anonymous behind his Heisenberg thing, it's still him that they're doing business with through the dealer network and all the rest of it.
Yeah, and he's being reliable, honest, the price is fair, the product is good, no messing around, it's not getting cut. And then they realised that they couldn't just cook and sell it small scale because they've got shitloads of it. And they need it, if you want to make more money, you can't just be selling to the kind of crackheads that are covered in weeping sores and, crawling around on the streets robbing people for money. They want to be selling to people who have got money already and who are looking for a big hit. So they needed to kind of branch out and look for better customers, better clients, long-term clients. What they needed was not the people on the street, but people who could buy a shed load from them and then distribute it themselves. Yeah.
So it's almost a franchise.
Yeah. Well, most dealers are, I guess.
I suppose they are, yeah. Never really thought of it like that. But then they had to start thinking about how to build a business, because once they've got this money coming in, what happens if one of their dealers gets busted?
Yeah. Got to get a lawyer.
Got to get a lawyer, which is where you better call Saul.
Better call Saul.
Yeah. And if you want to see Saul, by the way, Saul is like the criminal lawyer, and with the emphasis on criminal, because he kind of is a criminal, isn't he? We don't know that much about him yet, because he's only just popped up. But he has all these TV ads, and you can go and see it. If you go to tinyurl.com/BFS-Saul, that's SAUL, you can have a look at his TV advert, because I've made a proper TV advert. It's quite amusing. But it's a very good advert, because it exactly targets the people who are going to be in trouble, which are, people who might find themselves accidentally drunk driving or, getting busted for drugs. And it's kind of cartoony, But yeah, he's a kind of criminal lawyer who's a criminal, and so he knows the biz, and he gets involved with Walt and Jesse to take care of the business side of their business, so that they can get on with the cooking, and he does the money laundering.
Yes,
I think. Is that the case? I'm quite confused.
I think so.
Yeah.
Have some gin.
Yeah, but yeah, he keeps their faces clean, basically.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good series, and I genuinely think it's a good thing to watch if you run a business, because it teaches you a lot about how to run a business, because these guys have literally started a business from scratch. Oh, well, kind of Jesse was a small-scale dealer and he cooked his own. It
also kind of teaches you how not to run the business, because they both nearly died in the last episode of thirst in the desert. So, I mean, that's not really a great, method for your business to take. Don't go that way. Don't move your business to the middle of a desert and then have a small fire that uses up all your water.
Mm.
And then discover that your battery's flat. These are not ways to successfully run your business.
No, but I can't think of many businesses where you would end up in the desert, in the middle of nowhere.
I don't know, you were talking about going on a writing retreat.
I'm not in the middle of the desert with no water. I wasn't... I wasn't talking about, that kind of crazy. I was talking about, somewhere in the woods, a wooded glade.
Gonna buy one of those?
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to... Okay, as we are recording this, we're going to the solicitors tomorrow.
We're going to sign some stuff.
Sign some stuff. It's really exciting. So, yeah. But, yeah, that was kind of... I just wanted really to talk about getting better at what you do and being as good as you can be, and never assuming that you have learned everything. Because I am always... And you seek out people who are better than you at what you do as well, so that you can learn from them, because people are, by and large, very generous with their time and skills.
And the people who are very good at stuff are not scrabbling around for customers, therefore they don't feel particularly threatened by you when you turn up saying, hello, can I help?
Yeah.
Can I learn from you?
Yeah, it's really funny, the number of people who are really kind of, I don't know, they just don't share. And they don't share their suppliers, and they don't share their contacts. And I think that's really shit, because I've had a massive hand up from several people, and they've passed, they've given me great business. They've really genuinely given me a hand up and helped me out, and it's kind of pay it forward, and they did it because they had people helping them. And I like to think I'm doing the same thing. I think I am.
I think so.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying for this podcast. I don't know if anybody's listening to it either, but they don't have to pay for it. And it's free.
Yeah, but not just that. I mean, I pass on business to other copywriters.
Yeah, the good ones.
The good ones, yeah. But also the ones I do critiques. Yeah, I just want to help people get better as well, and I can't do that if I'm not making good money. And so I think that's why it's really important to be very good at what you do.
Yes. Well, yeah, your product needs to be good. And for your product to be good, you need to do your research, you need to do your learning, you need to do your thinking, and you need to be good at what you do.
Yeah.
And if you can't be good at the width of the things that you offer, then your niche needs to get narrower. Yeah,
that's really good advice, actually, because if you're trying to do too many things, and I've tried to do that before, it just dilutes everything. There's a whole, the jack of all trades thing is not a cliche for no reason. It's true. Jack of all trades, master of none. And there is a thing, an idea that says that you have to do 10,000 hours of practice before you master something. And I don't know, that's probably quite arbitrary, but it sounds about right.
Yeah.
It's like 6 years worth of full-time work or something.
So you're not going to be the expert at pay-per-click and lead generation and copywriting and marketing and accountancy and all of the things that you need to do to run a business.
No.
It's not going to happen.
And there's no point in trying, because you'll drive yourself nuts.
Yeah.
And there are people out there who have done very, very well out of not being very good at what they are because they're very good at sales and stuff, but I don't think that that's a reasonable way to behave. And I would not be comfortable with making a lot of money like that, and I don't think that most people listening to this podcast would either. You need to be good at what you do. You do, and always be getting better at it. I think. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming, yeah. So yeah, if you want to see an example of a good and funny advert, go to tinyurl.com/BFS, that's Business for Superheroes, BFS-Saul, SAUL. That's quite amusing. Watch Breaking Bad for how to do it and how not to do it. You realise we're like the only people who have any contact with this podcast who haven't seen Breaking Bad. Yeah, I know. Everybody who's listening is probably like, oh my God, I've seen this like 5 years ago. And I can only apologise for that. Sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, that's really all I've got to say tonight. I'm feeling a little bit tired, to be honest, because I've just done an hour and a half of circus stuff and I've got tiny T-Rex arms right now. I'm really knackered. I've just done an hour and a half of Kung Fu. Hey, one of the guys at Kung Fu is listening to the podcast. Oh, really? Who? Yeah. Aaron. Aaron is listening to our podcast. He makes T-shirts and wants to start his own fashion brand. Aaron, drop me an email, dude. Vicky@vickyfraser.com. Send me your address and I will send you my book. Well, I keep meaning to take him one to the Foo. Oh yeah, just take him a book. I will. Yeah. Hi, Aaron. Cool. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to stop rambling now. Joe was rolling his eyes at me, so I'm a little bit scared that this was now a boring podcast, and I really apologise if it was. I'd also like to point out that today Joe has a habit of telling me that I look like either a chimney sweep or a homeless person when I'm... Looking like a chimney sweep or a homeless person? I'm just honest. And today he told me that I look like a lunatic because I was wearing a cat cardigan with cats on. I'd just like to throw that out there. That, people, is the marriage that I'm in. And on that note, thanks very much, Joe. No worries. Have a splendid week, guys. Thank you for listening, if indeed you are at all.
Send us an email if you're still listening to these things.
Yeah. And yeah, I had a couple of people get in touch and say, really, is there really an offer that you'll send me a book if I send you my home address? Yeah, I've sent it to a couple of people this week who've asked me. So if you're listening and you would like a copy of my book, drop me an email, send me your home address, and I'll ping you a copy. I won't ping you a copy, I'll post you a copy.
Cool. It's a nice offer.
It is a nice offer.
Yeah. What do they normally retail at?
£19 and 97 of your English pence and pounds. That was a bit random. In my head, that sounded better.
Okay.
So yeah, anyway, next podcast, same time next week. I am going to be... Oh, no, it's not. You see, I've got in my notes, I'm going to be interviewing a chap called Kirk Pickstone about not making excuses in your business. And I will be, but...
But not this time.
But not this time, because...
What's the excuse?
Because it's Wednesday that I'm interviewing him, but the new cut-off time for me to submit my podcast is now Tuesday.
Oh, man.
So you're going to get me and Joe again next week, I'm afraid.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. I'm going to try and make
That's a good excuse. So the whole point of that one is about not making excuses, and we've got an excuse for not having it next weekend.
We've got a reason.
A reason.
A reason.
What's the difference between a reason and an excuse?
An excuse is bullshit.
Oh, right.
Reasons are like when you've broken your leg and you actually can't go for a run.
Okay.
That's a reason.
An excuse is...
An excuse is, oh, I've hurt my foot a little bit.
Right.
By the way, I ran a half marathon on Sunday, and I did it in 2 hours and 10 minutes, which I was quite pleased with considering I haven't done enough training.
Well done.
Thanks. My bling was amazing. That's the only reason I did it.
Cool.
So yeah, next podcast, same time next week, we'll not be interviewing Kirk. That will be the week after. Joe and I, instead, are going to have to ramble about something else.
Okay.
I'll come up with something.
We'll prepare for the next one, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks. Have a good week. Bye.
See ya.
Like what you've just heard? Tell your colleagues, tell your friends, send them to www.businessforsuperheroes.com/podcast.